Hello, 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 beautiful blessed ones. Hello, 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 beautiful blessed ones. It's your Triple G here, Donna Salee, certified transformational life and dream builder coach, motivational public speaker, workshop and book club facilitator, very soon to be best-selling author, which you'll be hearing more about very soon, and the founder of Life Destiny Solutions, where the life you're living connects with the destiny your soul desires to express. I am so thrilled to have you here for episode 7 of Women, Wisdom, and Wine, which is a live segment where mostly women, but not all, gather virtually every week to have conversations about their experience with life, healing, growth, and transformation. Because I truly believe that if you are alive, you have wisdom to share that can help someone else. For those of you who are coming back and visiting again, thank you for your support. I appreciate you. This show does not run without you, the fans. And if you are new to this live segment, welcome. Please stick around until the end of the segment, and I will tell you how to find out more about me, about Life Destiny Solutions, and how you can download my free guide, 5 Steps to Begin Living a Life You Truly Love. I'll also tell you how you can follow me on Facebook and IG. So, for those of you who have been here before, you know this is the time where I ask you to tell me in the chat what you're sipping on. After all, it is Women, Wisdom, and Wine. Tonight, I made my concoction, which is a spiked cherry limoncello iced tea, and it's very good. So tell me what you're sipping on as we go on and get started. Here we go. All right. We are going to get started because we have a very special guest. One, because it is one of my favorite people in this world. And 2, because it's our first male guest. So I would like to tell you a little bit about my very good friend, my Triple G, my good guy friend, DJ Benny James, who grew up in London, England, with a loving family and close friends. He started DJing in 1992 with a focus on music by Black artists. And although uneducated as a DJ, he realized he had a gift for emotionally connecting to the energy of people and just the vibrations of life. So Benny has a weekly podcast show, which we're going to talk about later at the end of the show. And he most recently did a soft launch on his internet radio station. So I can't wait for him to tell you about it. And he and his team share love and positivity through music, interviews, and just life experiences. Now, more importantly, tonight, we're going to talk about him being a father of 2 boys, and him being fortunate enough to be a stay-at-home dad while he was a dependent spouse. So we'll talk about that. But just know he is very happily remarried to the beautiful Faye, and they are merging their families, and we're going to welcome my good friend, DJ Benny James.
Hold on.
Of course you would.
This is what I'm drinking. Lindeman's, which is a South Australian, is it East? Southeast Australian. And red wine. It's got to be red wine, ladies. How you doing?
Yes. I'm a red girl. They know my repeat viewers know I'm a red girl.
Yeah. And this is crazy. This is one of those large bottles, right? And it's only $8.99. You can't beat it. That's amazing. And
it's from Australia. It's not even domestic.
I know, it tastes beautiful. How you doing, Donna?
I am wonderful. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Thank you for inviting me, man. This is weird because, as you know, I normally do the interviewing, right? So this is weird to be on the opposite side and to be interviewed by somebody. But I appreciate it. You know, I've been watching some of your segments and your videos and just the things you put out. You know, you really love to try to motivate people, heal, and do some great things. So I appreciate being part of this. I really do. And I think, like we were talking before, it's kind of good to maybe get a male perspective on some things sometimes. So thank you, Women, Wisdom, and Wine.
Yes. And even though it is Women, Wisdom, and Wine, I really wanted this community for women to be able to share their experiences with one another. But I also love having the men's perspective. I have a couple of regular male viewers. And I love that because although it's to help women, you know what? You guys help us too, you know?
Yeah.
I know the cliche is that we really help y'all, but
yeah.
you guys do help us too. So I'm excited to delve into the topic that you're here to talk about. And it might be a little uncomfortable for some women. But I want you to tell me, if you could first start out talking about your experience being a military dependent spouse, just kind of how that came about, how it was for you, what your experience was, and we can go from there.
Okay. Well, I will make a disclaimer before we start, right? Because I think it's really important that, look, everybody has as far as I'm concerned, everybody has their own story, right? And we have our own emotional turmoil we have with our own stories. So, for example, if me and you were in a relationship and we split up, you might have a very different story than I have, than my story. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Because we all go through our own emotional stuff, and we develop these stories in our head, and they could be very different for different people. So I just wanted to just say that, because whatever I say might not be gospel. It's gospel to me because that was my experience.
Yes. Love that.
I wanted to just put that out there because, you know, anyway. So yeah, I don't know when it was, I think in 1999, I was working in London and I met my ex-wife, and I was working for the military and she was in the military. And yeah, we got together, and rather quickly we got married within a year of meeting each other. And you know, I really wasn't planning on this whole military thing, traveling around and everything else, but I guess God had a different plan for me. And she told me that she was pregnant one day, and I was like, okay, well, I don't know if I'm in love, but I think I love this person enough. I think there's enough there to give this a real good go, you know. And I don't know, right or wrong. I mean, I don't know, right or wrong. I don't know what the answer is, but I just believe that if you have a child that's coming into the world, you should be there for the child. And so I was like, okay, I'm in for the ride. So we got married, and we started traveling. And you know, on paper, right? On paper, you know, and everybody be like, man, you got the life of Riley, right? You get to travel, right? You can stay at home. You're a stay-at-home dad. You must have all this free time. And it really did look good on paper, and I was really excited about it. But the reality is, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and
Mm.
it gave me a whole new perspective and appreciation and admiration for women who stay at home, home builders or stay at home moms, whatever you want to call them. I just because I remember before I did this, women who were looking after their kids at home would be like, "Man, it's a full-time job," and I was looking at them like, "Yeah, whatever. You're sitting on the couch, you're watching soaps all day, you're like." Just chilling out. But it's true, it's exhausting raising kids, especially when they're really young, still in diapers, or when they start moving around, they're toddlers and you got to chase them around. It's exhausting, it really is. And it's funny because you think in your head that, okay, well, when they're asleep, then I can do my stuff that I need to get done. But the reality is, when they go asleep, you want to go to sleep because you're exhausted. You know,
Mm-hmm.
sleep
Mm-hmm.
deprivation at night, not getting enough sleep because they're always waking up and stuff. So it's no joke. And then I basically I did everything that I'm going to say a typical woman, because we're just generalizing here. It's not every woman, obviously, but generally speaking, there's more females that support guys in that role in the military. So,
Yes.
so I would just say, I'm not going to upset anybody here, but let's just say generally, it was a reverse role for me. So I was cleaning the house, I was doing all the sweeping, the mopping, I was doing the dishes, I was washing the kids' clothes, bathing the kids, just doing everything to keep the household up and going. Fortunately, I'm very, very domesticated. I mean, it was just really natural for me because my mom, I just used to hang with my mom and watch my mom cook, and my mom was really a hard worker, so she was tired. So a lot of times I would want to do things for her, like clean for her, because I knew it would be helpful, and she'd be less tired if I helped.
Oh,
So,
so you've always been a sweetheart.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I did. I just really had a really close bond to my mom, and I think that
Yeah.
I just learned a lot from her about being domestic. So I could iron, I could cook. I mean, I wanted to be a chef when I was young. I don't know if you knew that, but I wanted to be a chef when I was younger, and then music took over. So I know how to cook and everything else, and I like things to be in order and clean and that. So, but like I said, it was a lot of work, and although we traveled and everything, it was a lot of work. But I will say, I think the most difficult one of the most difficult things for me as a man was to, like, when we'd be in that dependent role and we'd go to all these like fancy military meetings or affairs or whatever. I'd be the only male spouse, right? And I'd get some looks, right? And I'd often feel like I was worthless, like really worthless. Like, people would say, it's a whole thing about, oh, what do you do? And everybody's like, oh, they all say their ranks on what they do and whatever, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm a stay-at-home dad. And they'd be like, oh, okay, let me find somebody interesting to talk to. Because
Right.
it's
Because
like,
you can't talk to them right now. You don't have anything to relate to in
no,
your
they
mind.
didn't have anything to relate to me. They thought that I was worthless because
Yeah.
what do they have to talk to me about? I don't know anything
Yeah.
about the military. I don't have any education. I'm not some high-ranking person.
Mhm.
So, oh, you're a stay-at-home dad, you're nothing. So that was hard. That was probably one of the hardest things for me to take, is just feeling low, often feeling like I wasn't really anything important. Although, looking back, I mean, and just looking just broadly in the world, I mean, being a parent is the most fundamental, most important thing you can do. And it's amazing. I think it's amazingly undervalued, and
Mhm.
it was difficult and everything, but I would not take that back, that time, because that time you have bonding with your kids at such a young age, not and not many men get that opportunity, and I was very fortunate.
Yes. Yes. Well, it's interesting because when you said that, I was thinking, well, that's how a lot of women have felt for years. The women that were the domestic, the housekeeper, the house, the stay-at-home moms, the
Right,
one that stayed at home with the kids.
right.
For many years, that's how they felt. Like, well, men can't relate to what they haven't experienced. And so you had a very interesting experience. and you're not the only man in the world. I know that,
Of course
but
not.
it still is very uncommon, even today. There's
Yeah,
more.
it's becoming more common. It's becoming more common for sure. But when I don't know when we did it. How long ago was that? Like 20 years ago or something like that. Anyway, but I lost my train of thought here. But what I would say is this was a cool thing, right? My ex-wife would do that, like these really crazy long shifts, right? So she'd be gone for like 12 hours or whatever, right? And it's just me and the baby, right? So, and he can't talk or whatever. So like you're craving this adult attention, right? This adult conversation, because you just go boo 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 all day, right? But when this is interesting, and I want all the men, if there's any men listening to this now or in the future listening to this, this is important, right? So she used to come home, and her mindset was like, okay, I'm done for the day. I am done for the day. Put my feet up. I'm done for the day, because I went to work. But we got to a point. I got to a point of thinking, hold on a second, but I'm not done. I'm never done, because I've got to put the kids in the bath. I've got to do this. I've got to prepare for tomorrow. I've got to cook. I've got to put away. So she kind of had that man mentality of I'm done now. And we talked about that back and forwards for quite a long time, because I finally had enough. I'm like, look, we are not done. Both of us are not done until kids are asleep, house is clean, and we're prepared for tomorrow. That's when we are done for the day, because I've been working all day too.
Right.
I've been working. It's a different capacity, but I've been working all day too, and I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted, just like you. So, and then another thing that was really difficult for me, and I don't know, because I haven't spoken to enough women about this, is I wasn't the breadwinner, right? So I went from having 3 jobs, right, and being able to pay my way, to be completely dependent on somebody for a house, for a phone, for a car, for groceries, all right? And I got to tell you, it's look, I'll just speak from a man's perspective. That's a hard pill to swallow. That's a hard pill to swallow when you're at the grocery store and you have to stand back and wait for your wifey to take out the credit card so she can pay for the bills. We never shared our money. So that right there, that was one of the problems right from the beginning. You know, we never shared our money, you know, and you know, when I gave up what I was doing to support her career, from day one, it should have been our money, our house, our car, our everything, because we decided to be a team. We decided to get married. I decided to support your career. So guess what? Everything is now ours. It's not yours. And I kind of always felt that like it wasn't mine. Nothing was mine, because she was the breadwinner. That could have been my ego. I'm not saying she didn't say, she could have said all the right things at the time, but my ego was feeling like, because I'm not earning X amount of money, then I've still got that worthless feeling, right?
Yes.
And society still didn't see staying at home looking after your kids as a job. It was just,
they didn't place value on it.
Right.
There was no value.
Right. So if I say I'm a doctor, it was like, oh, he's a doctor. Like, he's important, right? But as soon as you stay at home dad, it's like, okay. So I think there was a lot of interesting things that came about, and I think it's interesting to think about how now I have more of a concept of how women would feel in the same situation, you know?
Yes. So then that's interesting too, Benny, because on one hand, we're going to get into some things. I want to go into talking a little bit more about the kids, you know, then and leading up to more current. But it's interesting to me because you now have a perspective that while you may say some things that would make some women uncomfortable, the women that it would make uncomfortable are the ones that don't place the value on a man at home that is taking care of the household and kids, or they're not placing, maybe they have a little issue with where they're placing their value on their man. At the same time, on the reverse side of that, you are also able to kind of understand a woman's perspective the stay-at-home mom and the mom that feels like, oh, I'm not bringing money in, I have to ask my husband for $20 just to go get
Right.
buy some fingernail polish or whatever.
Right. Right. Yeah, it was kind of crazy there for a while. It was kind of crazy. I got myself in quite a pickle at one stage where I didn't even have enough money to get myself lunch. Um, it was pretty bad, and I think that a lot of that was just communication breakdown, ego, our relationship just not where it needed to be. But there was so many factors that probably came to that point. I'm not passing full blame on anybody. I would say that I totally understand how some women in that position where they're completely dependent on a man or their partner for money. It's not
And
an
that's
easy
very
road.
common in the military.
Right. Yeah, and it's not an easy road. It sounds cool, but the reality is it really affects you internally, when you
Yeah.
when you're in that predicament, when you're in that.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about your experience with raising the children and then not being able to be there and raise the children. I know that that's kind of there's a lot of nuances there, but
Right.
talk to us about that so we can understand.
All right. Well, my first one is 20 years old now. So, and I'm not going to give their names because just out of respect for them and my ex-wife, I'm not going to say their names because, we have similar friends who are connected on Facebook and all the rest of it. So,
And I can't believe he's 20 though.
right. And like,
when we met, he was just an infant.
right. And like I said as well, they might have a very different version of events than I had, right?
Absolutely.
So this is just my story, right? So raising my first kid, my first son was like being home with him. It was just like such an incredible experience, man. Just having that time. Just the smallest things like feeding them. I used to make all the baby food from scratch. That's what I do, right? Because I love to cook, so I used to make everything. I used to like whiz everything down, and I just remember just the firsts of everything, the first steps, the first getting on a bike, the first of everything, Christmases and holidays and travel and just all of those and just wanting to be with me, just wanting to hug me. And he's a super affectionate kid even now. Like he's 20 years old and he said, "Dad, I'll always hug you and kiss you." I said, "No, when as soon as you get a girlfriend, you won't be interested." And he said, "No, Dad, I'll always be affectionate to you." And he just is. I think we just had that special bond from very young. One thing I noticed that I definitely did, I made a big mistake of, and women will scold me for this, is that when he was really young, he actually ended up having a speech delay. And I think it was because I anticipated everything that he needed. So never had to ask me for anything, even if little kids can't talk, toddlers or whatever, babies can't talk, they suggest, right? They're like, "Mama," and they try to communicate, but I always anticipated everything my son would possibly need. So he always had food, he always had some kind of drink, he always had if he was cold, there was always. So I was a very kind of organized and proactive and very nurturing dad, and I got that. My mum's like super nurturing, as I said. So it was just natural for me. So, but yeah, just being there for him. And then when my second son came along, it's different. It's different with with your second child, and
you learn some lessons.
Yeah, and funny enough, me and my ex were going through a lot at that time, and I had some really horrible thoughts in my head at that time. And I'm actually writing a book as well, like you are as well, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But I write about it quite in detail in the book. But basically, in my head, I was thinking, look, if I'm not as close, emotionally, like I am with my first one, then if we split up, it's not going to be as devastating for either of us. that was a short-lived thought, because obviously with all kids you just end up falling madly in love with them, because they're part of you. You just can't separate that. So I don't know if that makes sense to anybody out there, but
it does to me, and I want to thank you for that vulnerability, because that takes a lot to just be able to say that.
Right.
It reminds me of the women that go through postpartum depression.
Right.
Postpartum depression is really rough, and women have some really horrible thoughts when they go through that.
Right. Right. And that was, that's something I'm not proud of, but it is. I think it was a coping mechanism at the time, because I really didn't know. Look, I was always looking for the exit door from day one. I was looking for the exit door, but I was a dependent, and I had these kids to look after. Yeah. I was a dad, and I was a proud dad, a loving dad, but I knew I didn't want to be in this relationship. So it was a tricky situation, because I didn't have nothing, and I knew that at any moment she could up and leave and take the kids with her, because she was the one who had the money, the resources, the lawyers, potential lawyers, for military lawyers or whatever. So anybody that's found themselves in that situation where they're with somebody that's scared that they could just take their kids from them, and they stay for the kids. That was the biggest question for me. That was the biggest question. When I was growing up, my mom and dad went through their issues. My dad had a little fling, and for mom and dad, sorry, mom and dad, if you watch this, mom says she's going to watch this tomorrow.
I love your mom and dad. So
yeah. So sorry, Mom, if you're going to watch this and be upset with me. But anyway, look, just life experiences, right? You learn from stuff. And, my mom, I'm sure she wasn't happy. I'm sure they argued for 20 years about that crap, right? For 20 years, they argued about it, I remember. But she stayed for the kids. She stayed for us. I know she stayed for us. I'm sure there's many times she thought I'm gonna skip town, but she was like, no, I'm gonna stay for the kids, Do I appreciate that? Hell yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that my mom and dad stayed together. But that's an individual choice that each person just has to weigh up what is best for them, what's best for their kids. And look, the only saving grace for me, and the only way I can really know that I made the right decision, is I absolutely miss my kids. I absolutely miss the family unit. Yes. And I don't miss that relationship at all, not for 1 second. I don't miss that relationship. So that tells me that I did the right thing, not only for me, but for her too, because it was wrong. It was wrong to stay for the kids, just for the kids. And she told me that if you're staying just for the kids, you need to get the hell out of town. And I finally heard it. And I caused her a lot of pain. I caused her a lot of I screwed up a lot. I did. But at the end of the day, I know for a fact I did the right thing, because I don't miss 1 minute of that relationship, because it was toxic. Right? Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? We got married for the wrong reasons. We got married for the wrong reasons, and that is because we had a kid coming. Or I got married for the wrong reasons, I should say. I'll speak for myself. I got married for the wrong reasons. I didn't get married because I was desperately in love, and because we had a teamwork and a friendship, and somebody I just absolutely adored and wanted to be around. Those were the wrong reasons. And from there, it just went downhill. I'm sure she felt that, and then she reacted to that in so many different levels, and it just snowballed.
So let me ask you how many. I'm sorry. There's a lot of feedback. I don't know why. How many years between your two sons?
7.
7 years. Okay. Yeah. And at what point did you make the decision to leave? What were their ages? How many years ago was that? And then how did things change? How did your relationship with them change when you were no longer in the home?
Okay. So I left. I decided to leave My youngest was 5 and my oldest was 12. Um, I know that was a really difficult time. I think probably more so for my 12-year-old, going into the teens. Um, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. But my I came to a decision. I came to a decision off of this basic, very, very, uh, very logical principle. It wasn't really an emotional thing. It was a logical decision. I said to myself, can I live with seeing my kids 50% of the time if I can provide them a completely different environment that is one similar to how I grew up? Because from what I feel, from what I see, from what I sense, everything from what I hear, all my senses tell me that this is completely, what I'm living in is completely opposite than how I grew up. And I want my kids to experience the kind of nurturing, the kind of positivity, the kind of love, the kind of support and everything that look, there's different ways to show love, right? But I just wanted my kids to experience something different than they're currently experiencing. So I said to myself, okay, I'm not going to see these kids every day. I know that. But is this worth the sacrifice for them and for me? And to be able to let my ex free, let her go, because she don't deserve this. She don't deserve this also, because it's not fair on her. So
Right.
I put all of those elements together, and I thought, you know what, this is good short term because they'll see something, and long term because then now they know two completely different ways of living and being parented and relationships and love and everything else, and they can decide to take the best of whatever they wanted to take from my experiences in my household, or from her experiences in her household. I've kept on telling them that it's up to them. So that's their ages, 5 and 12, and it was fine. I moved out. It was fine. I moved out, and I was just living in this little apartment just down the street, and I thought, cool, man, I get this little apartment just down the road. It was walking distance down the road. And man, I felt this like very massive relief immediately as soon as I moved out. This massive relief. But then the days I didn't see the kids, or I drove by the house what we purchased together, I'd see them outside, and I'd be like, what the F am I doing? What the F am I doing? Like, there's my house, there's my kids playing out the front yard, and
I'm not there.
and I'm not there. I live down the road. And I'm like starting to go psycho in my head, like, what the hell am I doing? And I wanted to do what I did so many times before, was go back for the kids. See, I wasn't driving by thinking, I wonder what she's doing. I miss her. I miss the relationship. I was always thinking, look at the kids. I should go back for the kids. And it took a lot. It took a lot to not go back. I was in the shower daily on my knees, like you see in these movies. Like in these movies when people get raped and all like washing themselves. I'll be like washing myself like I don't know, guilt and just like pain, and I'll be crying my eyes out, sobbing, snot coming out my nose, just like a complete mess. Right? I wasn't sleeping. I remember I had to take like certain oils, like all these like different oils and teas and stuff, and jazz music, all these different things to help me sleep. Normally, my head hits a pillow, I'm gone. But I had all these things to just try to cope day by day. I was listening to The Secret and all different types of things, and I was started going to church just to try to cope on a daily basis, because it's absolutely crippling. It's like unbelievably painful when you can't see your kids, because it's like a piece of you just be ripped out of you.
Yes. Well, and I'm glad I'm so grateful again for your vulnerability, because we don't get to hear the man's perspective a lot of times.
Right.
You know, there are men out there, you know, we hear a lot about the deadbeats and the ones that don't want to be involved and all that. But to hear the perspective of the fathers that really do want to be a part of their children's lives.
Let me just stop you there, right? Because we do hear about deadbeat dads, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's deadbeat dads out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there is deadbeat dads out there. But I know there's a lot of deadbeat dads out there because they've been forced to be a deadbeat dad.
Thank you. Come on. Right? Come on, talk about it.
I have so many friends that their ex-partners won't let them see the kids, or they're only let to see the kids under certain situations on certain days at certain times, right? But they want all their money. I'm like, okay, this is going to be controversial here, ladies, right? And sorry if you get upset here, but I don't want to pay a single cent in child support. I don't want to pay nothing. You know why? You know what I want to pay for? When my kids are here, 50% of the time, which is I want, I'll pay for their clothing. I'll pay for their food. That's money. I'll pay for the bills. I'll pay to get them to school and back. I'll pay for everything else that needs to be paid for on this side. That is my support. They come live with me 50% of the time. I'll pay for everything. That's my child support. Yeah. You keep them 50% of the time. You pay for everything on your side. That's your child support. Does that make sense? You don't pay me nothing. I don't pay you nothing. You take care of your stuff on that side. I'll take care of myself on this side. Why would I want to pay you $2,000 a month so that you can keep my kids away from me? Eventually, I'm going to be like, oh, okay. Well, then I won't see my kids then.
But if I'm not going to see my kids, I ain't paying you nothing either.
Yeah, if I ain't seeing my kids, now I'm paying you nothing. So now all of a sudden you're a deadbeat dad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm sorry, but look.
There are some that get a bad rap.
There are some guys that are just not interested, right? They had the kids and they thought, well, you know what? I don't want these kids. Fair enough, right? But I know more men that desperately want to see their kids, want to be with their kids. They would want to be their kids every single day if they could.
Yes.
But women, for one reason or another, for the court system or whatever, women have got the rights to see the kids. And they use it and abuse it like nothing. I can't even tell you. And then we'll talk about this later as well. But then they start feeding the kids all this like horrible stuff about their dads and about what you can do, what you can't do over at his house, and we'll go into all of that. But it becomes a mess.
Well, come on, let's go into it. Let's talk about it. While we're on it, let's do it. And ladies, please, you know, if you've had experiences and you can relate, please go ahead and make comments. We you know, this is a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't make sense, because then so she would start sort of telling the kids, right, how much I'm giving and I should be giving more money, and he should be doing this and he should be doing that, right? So putting me down, telling me I'm useless, telling me I'm not giving them enough money and everything. And I would have to have the communication with the kids. Look, because I learned a little while ago, there's no point arguing with that situation. This is not, because I am getting nowhere fast. The best thing for me to do, and if there's any dads out there that are seeking advice, the best thing you can do is communicate directly with your kids. So I tell the kids, this is the kind of support I want to give you. I do not want to give you your mum $2,000 a month so that I can't see you. Does that make any sense? I moved my whole life from Hawaii, gave up my business, gave up everything I knew and had to come to New Jersey, the armpit of America, right? So that I could be in your life. I gave up everything so I could be in your life. So why would I want to pay so that you're not in my life? No, I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay a damn cent. I'm sorry if you disagree with that. Fair enough. Actually, the only thing I agree with that I should pay for is healthcare, because that's my responsibility and I'm gonna have to pay for it anyway. And because she pays for healthcare through the military, I feel like I should pay for that, because I pay half of that because I'm gonna have to pay for it anyway. Does that make sense? So
right. And healthcare is needed regardless to which parent they're living with.
Right, absolutely. But do I have to pay the bills over there? No, I got my own house I pay bills on. Do I have to pay the water? Do I have to pay for the car? Do I have to pay for anything? No, because I have all that over here, so they can come over here half the time. And if you don't want them here half the time, then you have decided on your own not to have that support. So don't call me a deadbeat dad, or don't say that I don't give enough. Because if you want me to give more, let them come over more. It's not
Yes.
rocket science, but you don't want to, because that's losing control. That's
Yes.
losing, it is. It's losing.
That's the problem, is that the women, there are women, not all women, there are women that want to control their household and yours.
Well,
They want to control. I'm not letting them come over. You have a girlfriend now. I don't want them meeting somebody.
Okay, that's another subject. But hold on.
Kids are smart.
Let's just go for a second. So when we were married, I was a good guy, right? All your family thought I was a good guy. Everybody thought I was a good guy. Now we're divorced and I got somebody else. Now I'm a piece of you know what.
Yes.
Now you can't go over there. Now you're worthless. Now you're a bad dad. Now you're not a good man. Hold on a second. I was good before, and I've always been an amazing father, apparently, but now I'm not.
Because I'm not putting up with your crap. I'm sorry. But it's just,
look, and then obviously if there's somebody else in the mix, right? I'm with somebody new. And I wish you didn't say that at the beginning, because there might be some like hot chick watching this. Beyonce could be.
I was trying to get my friends. I'm trying to keep them safe. Like, don't even come after my friend here, because I'm trying to tell you. Faye, I'm taking up for you, girl.
She's not even watching this. She's up in the Poconos right now. They were snowboarding.
Well, when she sees it, I want her to know I had her back.
Okay. So what was I saying?
But you were a good guy until you.
Anyway, yeah. So basically, when we first split up, everything was cool. Trust me, everything was cool. Like, I was just down the road. Like I said, everything was cool. She was like really super supportive. When I was really going through the guilt thing, I was sick, blah blah blah. I had to end up going to doctors. She was like super like supportive and everything. But as soon as she found out that there was somebody else, then it was bang. It was downhill from there, right? It was like, that's it, you're done. And I understand that, because I met my new wife before, right? So look, like I said, I was always looking for the exit door, like from the get-go, from the day I was at the altar, I was looking for the exit door. But I also knew that I couldn't go through that door because of these boys. So it was a complicated situation. But look, like I said, I'm not proud of a lot of things I've done, and I could have exited the marriage in a lot better way. But I had my own fears. I had my own worries that her anger, disappointment, upset, whatever, she could just fly. She could fly. She could go somewhere. So and whether that's
she still had resources that you didn't really have.
Yeah. And whether I was right or wrong, I don't know. All I know is I did what I felt was best at the time, and I judged things at the time. But yeah, I definitely could have exited in a better way. But we all make mistakes in life, and this is the key. This is the key, which I really would like every single woman, or every person that's been really hurt by a partner, same-sex partner, man, woman, whatever. Like, if you've got kids with that person, it's got nothing to do with the kids. The kids were not part of the affair. They were not part of the dirt. They were not part of whatever. Right. So if you hate the dude, if you hate the woman, and you want to wish them dead for the rest of your life, you want to be nasty to them, that's fine. But it's got nothing to do with the kids and the relationship that the kids have with their dad.
Don't drag them in.
Right. And so many couples, I hear this again and again and again, that so many people play their kids like pawns, for control against the
Yes.
other person. They think it's hurting the other person, and of course it hurts. But at the end of the day, you're hurting the kids. And look, I'm a dad. I'm a man. Like you want two boys. You two boys. You want a man's influence, right?
Yes.
I know that
Yes.
I was, super close to my mom, but my dad had such a massive impact on me, and he taught me so many things about manhood and how to be a man, right?
Yes.
I learned that
Yes.
from my dad, not from my mom.
Yes.
I learned so many.
Yes. Your mom can't teach you those things.
I learned so many amazing qualities from my mom. But so
Yes.
so look, I don't care. Look, I don't care what the guy did. If he was the worst husband on the planet, but guess what? He might be the best dad on the planet.
Yes.
Be a dad, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's so funny because all the time you think I had to change my language from "you're keeping me from the kids." I used to say that a lot. You're keeping me from the kids. Then I changed it to "you're keeping the kids from me. You're keeping the kids from your father, from their father."
Yes.
Keeping the kids from their father, quality time with their dad.
Yes. Love that.
Right. It is. And it was just a different.
It's just a change of perspective.
Right.
Hmm. So let me ask you, because I know we've got about 14 minutes or so, but
What?
so I want to ask you, it goes quick, doesn't it?
That's crazy. Okay.
I want to ask you about how your relationship is now with the children, and where that stands. And then I'd like you to go into talking about the book a little bit if you'd like.
Okay. Well, relationship is really good with my oldest son. I think there's been some ups and downs with the transitioning of the family. My wife came with her kids and pets and everything else. So there's definitely been some transition issues. And I think there's going to be transition issues for most people that transition in families together,
Yes.
just personalities and everything. It is what it is. But and there's definitely been some bumps in a row with me and my oldest son. We've had to really have some heart to hearts, and I think there's a lot of stuff. My oldest keeps a lot inside, is a lot like me. So he would keep stuff inside until he's ready to pop, and then we'd have to have a heart talk. But at the end of the day, I think love resonates. And I always say, look, this is what's real. This inside is what's real. Like whatever she's saying, right?
That's real for her.
That's her story. Whatever I'm saying is my story, and I'm not saying that either one is gospel. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. That's reality. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle, right? Don't listen to me 100%. 100%. Truth is probably in the middle, but you can guide yourself by what feels right to you in here. You know me. I don't intentionally go out to hurt no one. I'm not in the business for going out to hurt anybody. Look at this. Be kind, right? I don't know. I don't want drama in my life. I just don't have time for it. So I have connected back with my oldest son by just communicating and just reiterating that I'm here. I've moved my whole life to be here for him, and I gave him the key to the house. I'm like, you can come tomorrow, move in. I don't care. Like, just I'm here. And then
that shows that consistency,
right?
When you moved all the way,
right. But I'm a deadbeat dad. No, I'm a deadbeat dad. Remember?
That's right. You're not paying child support.
That's right. I'm not paying enough money. That's right. Why? Because I had to give up like my business, maybe. Anyway, and then my youngest is funny because he's completely different. So my oldest is very internal. My other one is very confrontive. So my younger one is more week to week based. It's like how he feels at the moment. He'll tell you, bang, bang, bang. Dad, I got a question about the past. Bang, he will tell me, and we'll talk about it. Oh, okay, and then he'll move on. So that's him. I think he has a stronger connection with his mom because they've just been together more, and I think he's seen the victim role being played extremely well. So I think that he is gravitated towards that, and that's fine. I just think that hopefully in later years we'll connect more, you know.
Yes. Well, I am just like I know this could have been a 2-hour show. I already
Easy,
know.
easy. We will have
Because
to do
there's
another
so
one.
much. So tell us a little bit about the book. Tell us about I mean, you are a DJ, and that's how you and I
Yeah,
connected. Was through music.
yeah.
And so talk a little bit about the book, go on and talk about the podcast, the station.
Okay, so I'll talk about a book real quick because I don't even know when it's going to be finished. I'm like 3/4 finished with a book, and I grew up. I failed in school miserably. Definitely am not educated. I have some form of dyslexia, although it's not officially diagnosed. But yeah, I find it very hard to read, to comprehend. When I read stuff, it's very hard for me to keep it inside my head. But I'm creative. I always used to write poems when I was a boy, and I loved writing stories, although I couldn't spell or do paragraphs or sentence structures. But I love writing, and um, part of this breakup and not seeing my kids was, I guess I just sat down one day and I started writing because I guess like a journal. Like I've never done journaling before in my life, but I started writing about my feelings, and it just started to turn into this book. And then I thought, wow, this is good. This is therapeutic. This is helping me
Yes.
like sequence everything, what happened and why it happened, and just get things out of my head, because everything was just like crazy in my head, and then it was hurting. So by getting it out, that was helping on a daily basis. So for a while there, for about maybe 9 months, I was just like writing like a fiend, like every day, like crazy. And then I started to add to that. I thought, well, I love poetry, so let me start adding poetry. So I started adding poetry in there. Then I started adding illustrations in there from a friend, and it really started to sort of come together as kind of this book. So I'm hoping that that will come out, and it's got a really cool name that I know will resonate with millions and millions of dads out there. So I won't tell you the name just yet. But I'm hoping that I'll do that. It was supposed to be done on my 50th birthday, but that didn't happen. So, I was telling you this before, you have to do things when it feels right. And especially with creative stuff, you have to be in that zone. And I just have lost that zone for a while. So when it comes back, I'll finish the book. Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully
I'm looking forward to it. So
yeah. And thank you. I know you've been helping me and encouraging me as well. So I appreciate that. And then I used to be on the radio a lot in Hawaii. I was in Hawaii for many years. I was on a college radio station there. And my show that I did actually really took off. And I think it took off because I'm kind of an open book, as you realize, but I was talking like I'm very open about stuff, and I'll talk about stuff, and good days, bad days, whatever, my insecurities, my fallibilities, whatever. I would just talk about just who I am, and I would share music. And the music I love is soul, basically soul music, and it's all about love. So the music and my stories, I guess, resonated with people, and I just got so much good feedback, and it was a really popular show. So then when I moved here and I gave up everything, I didn't have anything. I didn't have any connections. I didn't have any way to get on the radio here. So my wife and my oldest son were like, man, you need to do something, do a YouTube channel, do a podcast, blah, blah, blah. I didn't even know what a podcast was. So I just wasn't feeling it. For like a year, they were nagging me, do it, do it, do it, do it. And then literally one morning I woke up and I'm like, I feel like doing music today. I feel like doing music. So I just researched it, and I found this platform I could use, and I started podcasting, and it's crazy. I think this week it was like close to like 75,000 or something this week. I heard listeners or whatever. So
wow.
All over the world, I get messages from like all over the world, places I've never been to in my life. The number one city listening to me right now is Tokyo. I don't know why. No idea that. Before that, it was Brazil. I don't know why. So
love it.
So and then but the predominant feedback I got from my show was similar to what I had on my radio. People would say it makes them feel good, that my show makes people feel good. It makes them feel some kind of healing, happier, whatever. So, and a lot of people say that they can't turn it off. They want to listen to the full show. So I thought, well, and again, back to my wife sort of encouraging me, to do something with radio. She said, you got to get back on radio. So I thought, well, I can't get back on radio. I've tried. So why don't I just create my own radio station? So, so
and you want to play the music that, you know, you love, not what a radio station is telling you to play. That's the other thing.
Yes, that's the other thing. Because, you know, I love playing like the alternative artists, the independent artists, the B-sides. I don't want to play all the crap that they're playing on the radio right now. So I'll play kind of everything else. I like to play the classics too, but I like to really just stretch, you know, stretch the boundaries with soul music, you know. So anyway, so that launched last week. It's called lovesoulradio.net, and it's available on iPhone. There's an iPhone app. It's going to be on Android soon. There's a website. So it's just Love Soul Radio on the apps, but it's lovesoulradio.net is the website. And I'm creating this team, putting this team together of some amazing DJs. And it's going to be 24/7, 365 days a year. And it's only a soft launch, so it's at the beginning stages. So there's lots of things to tweak. There's the address right there. But I'm excited about it. But I don't know if I've got myself into something a lot more than I thought. This is a lot.
You over your head a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, man, it's gonna be fun, man. I'm like, and now it's like, oh god, this is work. It's a lot of work. So I need you guys' honest feedback to let me know how I can improve things. Like I said, it's just at the beginning stages. But man, the basic concept is that whenever you tune in, whenever you press play, that it's going to be something that will uplift you, make you feel better. So it's either going to be music doing that, or it's going to be somebody giving an affirmation or good news or poetry or something that's like inspirational and makes you feel good. So that's
cool. So right now, if I remember, your cycle is every 7 days, but eventually by June is when your hard launch right now is planned.
Yeah.
So you'll be expanding and doing more.
Yeah. Well, if that's what he wants to happen, that's what's going to happen. And then I'm not going to stop my podcast because that's doing really well and people look forward to that. So that's the Benny James podcast. And you can just Google that. It's really easy. And, or you can just go to my website and you'll find it there. And then I just put the podcast on the show. But like you say, the specialist shows rotate for 7 days. And then I'll do, and then we'll change up the shows again, because reality is there's no way I can put shows up every single day with all these different DJs, because, you know, unless there's somebody watching this that wants to give me $1 million so I can give up everything and just focus on this full time.
All right. You heard it here. If there's anyone out there who would like to donate that $1 million,
be the first. I'll give you a free t-shirt.
But I would like to just remind everyone, please check out lovesoulradio.net. And if you want to find out all that Benny has going on, djbennyjames.com. One of the other things that he does is he has some t-shirts, some Love Soul t-shirts, some different love shirts. And I wore mine tonight, Love Neo Soul, because that's my fave. But I'm turning to a house head now. But Love Neo Soul, it's got the Life Destiny Solutions, DJ Benny James podcast. So this is a good segue because we're coming up on the top of the hour. I am going to, anyone who goes to my website, donnasalee.com, don't forget those 2 L's and 2 E's, and you go there and download my free guide, 5 steps to begin living a life you truly love. The first 2 people who do that, I am going to send you a Love Neo Soul t-shirt. I'm going to buy it from Benny's store. You're going to send me your size. All you have to do is download it, send me a screenshot that you have the guide, and you can email me. All you have to do is email me. There you go. And just let me know that you downloaded the guide. Send me your t-shirt size, and and your address, and I'm going to send you a shirt. Okay. So the first 2 people who download my free guide, okay, and email me there at donnasalee.com. And so I want to go back to that. I just wanted to throw that in there. And now we're going to go to what Benny is offering. Now you only have 2 weeks to do it. So you only have till the 1, 2, 3, the 4th to the 3rd of March. So the first 2 people over the next 2 weeks. Okay. Now, Benny, what's your?
I like your earrings, by the way. Are they square? I like those earrings.
They are. Yeah.
Those are cool. I like those.
Thank you.
Okay, so my one's going to be really easy, right? Because you got the Neo Soul T-shirt on. Neo Soul is one of my absolute favorite genres of soul music. So I was just going to make something really easy for you. I would say the first person to name a Maxwell song, right?
All right, get to typing, y'all.
First person to do that, I will give them 12 weeks of free music. A lot of it is exclusive as well. And it's really easy. All they have to do is just give me their email address. That's it. And I'll give you 12 weeks of music. So there you go. First person.
All right. Who's got the first person to type in a Maxwell song, a title of a Maxwell song? You're going to get 12 weeks of music free.
Yes, free.
Do you understand? Sent to your email address.
It's easy. It's really easy to download. And it's
easy peasy.
It's part of the music pool. Who we got?
Oh, no. It was. There she goes.
There you go.
Tahira Rogers.
That's a good track. That's a good track.
Awesome, Ty. And Ty is the one that said that we need to have you on again because this wasn't long enough.
Yeah, it wasn't long enough. Yeah, I wanted to touch on so much more. But anyway, listen, hey, I really appreciate it. You know, like you said, being vulnerable is not easy sometimes. But I'm doing this for the greater good, and hopefully some ladies will really hear this and think about their deadbeat ex-husbands in a different light. Don't think of them as your ex-husband. Think of them purely as the father of the kids. And are they a good dad? Are they a good dad? Yes. If they're a good dad, focus on that. Tell the kids, man, he was a horrible husband, but man, is he a great dad? He's a great dad. Go and see your dad. Love on your dad. Spend some quality time with your dad. Come back and tell me how great it was. He's a great dad. He's a good man. You know why? Because you tell them all of those things, they're going to feel good about themselves. You say, he's a shitbag, he's crap, he's this, is this. Guess what? Half of them is him.
I was thinking the same thing.
Half of him. Half of him is them. So you're just basically putting your kids down. Yes. Tell them all the great things about him as a dad. As a right?
Yes.
Come on
Love
now.
It.
Come on.
Love it.
Then you're building them up.
Teach them how to be whole and to love their whole self. Not just love the part of them that is you, but to love the part of them that is their dad.
And one more thing I want to say before we go, because this is part of it for the healing for the ladies, because we talk about healing, right? Be honest with yourself, right? Be honest with yourself. Why did he leave?
Yeah.
Why did he leave? Why was he looking for the exit door? Why was he looking for somebody else?
Yeah.
I'm in this new marriage. I'm not leaving. I'm not looking for the exit door. I'm not looking for anybody else. Why?
It doesn't mean everything's perfect.
No, but you know why? Because I have a friendship. I have a partnership. I have somebody that I trust, that I know that when she says she's going to do something, she does it. She supports me. I get up for work at 4 o'clock in the morning every morning to go to work. My wifey gets up and makes me food and makes me coffee to go to work. Why? I don't tell her she has to do it, because she loves me. I feel it every single day. That's the difference. So, ladies, you need to ask yourself, if whoever left you, why did they leave you? So is it all their fault, or is it some of your fault? So if it's some of your fault, then come on now, get real. You know what I mean?
And work on that part of you.
Work on that part and stop blaming everything on somebody else. You know? Anyway, sorry about that. I just have to get
Benny, I'm going to have you on soon again.
All right.
We can talk about this some more. So I'm going to send you to the backstage. Don't hang up. I'll be right back with you. Thank you, my friend. Love you dearly. All right. All right, everyone. So I wanted to answer the question, Ty. I want to tell you to go ahead and email Benny, and you can go to his website. Okay? And if you have problems, email me, Donna@DonnaSalee.com. I'll make sure that you get in touch with Benny so he can start sending you that music, because he has a podcast tomorrow. He does it every Friday. Okay. All right. So that's for you, Ty. And someone else asked, how many t-shirts am I going to send? The first 2 people. So I'm going to send a t-shirt to each person. The first 2 people who go to my website and they download my free guide, 5 Steps to Begin Living a Life You Truly Love. All you have to do is download it, take a snapshot that you downloaded it, and email me that snapshot with your t-shirt size and your address. I'm going to purchase your shirt and I'm going to send it to you. And it is going to be the Love Neil Soul. Know that he has all kinds of love shirts on his website. Okay. So go ahead and go to djbennyjames.com and you can buy a t-shirt from him. He has love soul, love hip hop, love all genres of soulful music. Okay. All right. I know we ran over a little bit, you guys, but thank you for staying on with us. And as promised, I just want to tell you real quickly, especially for those of you who are new to my show, I just want to let you know that you can, once again, go to my website, donnasalee.com. Don't forget those 2 L's, 2 E's, and you can find out more about me. You can find out more about Life Destiny Solutions, and you can download that free guide. Also, you can follow on at Life Destiny Solutions, and that is SOUL, on Facebook. And if Facebook isn't your thing, IG is your jam, you can follow Life Destiny Solutions on IG. I am still kind of getting used to IG because Facebook is more my thing, but I'm building and I'm getting there. Okay. I would love for you to be a guest on the show. It takes guests. It's women, wisdom, and wine. I need you to, men and women, send me an email. Go back to that email, donna@donnasalee.com, subject line live segment. Tell me your name. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what you would like to discuss. And if you have a segment idea, you'd like to hear someone else talk about something that they specifically they've been through. You want to see DJ Benny James come on and talk a little bit more about that, being a dependent spouse and having to work hard just to be able to be in his children's life. Maybe you want to hear that. You want to hear something? Let me know. Segment idea in the subject line. Just email me. Tell me what you want to hear. Invite and share. If you're finding value in Women, Wisdom, and Wine every Thursday night at 8 p.m., invite your triple G's, your good girlfriends and your good guy friends. Okay? All right, y'all. I'm going to stop running my mouth and I'm going to get out of here. But I appreciate you, each and every one. And if you have any questions about getting your t-shirt or Ty, getting your music, you guys just let me know. All right? As I say, dream big, but live bigger.